What is up, everybody? I am RenaMarq, aka Renaissance Mark, your modern Renaissance creator, and I am back with another Perception episode with the King, Gold Wave.
Yo,
He
what's popping?
he is one of my uh inspirations in this content creating industry. I could tell you that right now. A very dope peer in this content creating industry, streamer, variety streamer, I might add, artist, songwriter, and all around dope content creator. Gold Wave, introduce yourself, tell us about yourself a little bit more, and how you been, man.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I appreciate you,
Of
man.
course.
Yeah, as you said already, my name is Goldwave. I am a Twitch streamer. I am also a songwriter, musician, producer a little bit, just a little something like, you know what I'm saying? And
What?
and yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here.
I love that. I love that. You know, I definitely wanted to talk to you because uh it's it's hard to kind of find like a person who has a lot of hats, kind of,
Yeah.
especially with splitting in these very hard to come by industries, like, or hard to make an
hmm
industry, so like, to put your all into music and to put your all into streaming can still have like is limitations. So to speak to somebody like you who is doing both, that's
Yeah.
definitely something I wanted to kind of sit down and kind of go back and forth about. How do you, and of course to jump right in, how do you
hmm
manage the balance of focusing your creativity in music at times and then focus your creativity in streaming and content creating at times?
Hey, well, it's definitely like not easy at all, or at least for me, it is. It's still
Right.
to this day, even after I got myself a little schedule, even after I started, putting stuff out and working the way that I wanted to, it's still a learning process because when I'm in a mode of doing something, whether it be my music,
Mhm.
whether it be my art, or whether I'm trying to do something for stream, like set up new stuff, or if I just want to stream something, when I'm in that mode, it's hard for me to come out of it because I don't want to lose like that drive that puts me in like whatever move I'm in. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm making
Yes.
music, because like just to talk on it a little bit, the music I make
Mhm.
is always like it's always music about like my life, like where I
Right.
come from and the stuff that I've been through. So when I'm like in that, like I'm really like in that headspace, like in that time period and everything. And I'm also trying to make something like super dope. So when I
Yeah.
have something, whether it be like a beat that I'm like, oh, yo, this really fits this little mood right here. I want to do this. Or if it's like, like a couple bars that I got on me or something like that, like it's hard for me to like, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to
Right.
like sit on something, even if it's just like a little quick, 2 bars or whatnot. I don't want to be like, all right, nah, I got to stream right now. Let me go ahead and just, I'll worry about that later. No, it's like, oh, wait, I got something hot. Let me go ahead and do this now, but let me also not stop. Maybe I got something here. Maybe I should just keep going and stuff like that. And it's the same with
Yes.
streaming too. Like if I'm in the middle of like if I'm watching somebody stream and I see like, ooh, this person got a like nice little layout, and then I look back at my layout, I'm like, okay, I want to edit this up, but I should also be doing this thing right here. But if I'm not in that space and I don't have like if I'm not like in that work mode
Right.
right then and there, I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and do this now before I lose my inspiration because I might have something dope. So it's hard, man. It's hard. I try to like set up a little schedule for myself so I could like split my time up, but even then, like I can't constrict myself to my schedule because I could be sitting there for like 2 hours and not really have nothing. Like I'm working, I'm putting something out there,
Right.
but maybe at the end of that 2 hours, it's like, all right, I got to go over here and do this thing. But like 5 minutes before that, I'm like, damn, I got something really nice here.
Mm.
Let me not stop. Let me go ahead and push this to the side a little bit. And it's definitely caused a little bit of problems, caused me to stream just a little bit less, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always like, I don't want to come out of that. I don't want to lose like that creativity. So it's hard, but I definitely try to manage it like as best as I can. And I'm getting back into the groove of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm definitely getting back to where I used to be with it. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I Everything you literally just said speaks to me personally. Just like you, I do music as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, two things that you mentioned that I definitely want to piggyback on is you talk about like your music is a rendition to your life. Like
Yeah.
it can't be life adjacent. It can't be anything else but
No.
how you live in. And
Mm-hmm.
that's also something that is a constant like battle as well, because you know you're creating content here, you're creating content there, but you also, in order to make something dope, you need to live a bit, which is also hard to
Yeah.
balance when you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
when most of your 24/7 is at home creating content.
Yep. Yep.
And one of the big things that you said is that it's hard to constrict yourself to a schedule. Like you can block out a time. Like let's say you want to stream
Mm-hmm.
at 5, and then at 4:55 you like, "Whoop, I got a
Yep.
song idea." And then that
Yep.
just throws your
Every time.
whole thing off, cuz then you have
Yep.
to you deal with this quick dilemma of, do I stream or do I get
Yeah.
this song idea down? Because
Mm-hmm.
either way, it's your content. You know you're gonna put your all into whatever decision you kind of pick. But
Exactly.
in that moment, it's really a give and go. And that's I'm so happy to be talking to you because
Oh
it's
yeah, nah.
a lot of people who don't wear many hats, which is fine. You know, like some people
Yeah.
are like they stream and they just stream, or they content create, they just
Mm-hmm.
content create their music and they just do
Yep.
music, which ooh, I wish sometimes. Sometimes I wish I just had that streamline. But
Yeah.
but someone people like you who have these different hats and try to manage that balance. Now you talked about managing the time and the balance of it. How do you manage the mental aspect of it? Because
Ooh.
like I said, these industries are tough individually.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, it seems like everybody in their grandmama streams, and
Yeah.
as of late, everybody in their grandmama seems like they want to do music. How do
Mm-hmm.
you deal with that mental of like trying to kind of climb two ladders at the same time?
Honestly, it's all about just in the simplest way possible. It's all about just finding like what works for me and making that like the best that I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I see all types of people like doing like everything that I do, whether it's streaming and music and art. And there's a lot of people that I look at like that person is way better than me. I'm probably never gonna get to that level.
Mm.
But I look at what I do and I look at how well I do it, and I'm just like, all right, I may not be at that level, but let me make this level that I'm at the best level it could be at. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then once I prove upon that, it's like, all right, let me try to like I like dealing with like trying to like make my own space, I guess you could say, like
Right.
trying to make my own like my own mark with my own thing. I kind of just try to challenge myself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever caught my my early art stream when I got my art pad like last year, I immediately went in and I drew me just a little profile picture, you know, just like an
Right.
animated version of like me, right?
Right.
And I put that out there and I'm like, yo, this is cool. But then like I took some time, I started to get better, and then I looked at that and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I can make this look better. So I went
Right.
back and redid the exact same thing and made it a lot cleaner than what it looked like before. And
Right.
then even now I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, that looks cool, but I'm a lot better than what I was back then. So let me go ahead. I'm redoing that again right now. And I just keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at where people are at and I remain like I guess you could say, you know, honest and realistic with
Right.
myself. Cause a lot of people like they have this mental of like, you know, like there are people that are like, you know, you gotta look at what you do as like, you know, the best thing possible and whatnot. And that's
Right.
true. But I feel like a lot of people like then like give themselves this unrealistic expectation of like, where they actually are, and they get caught up in that so much that they end up like honestly just stumbling over themselves because they think they're at this level here, but then they skipped a few steps here because they're
Right.
trying to build on that self-confidence that much. Instead, I look at what people are doing, I look at where they're at, get my inspirations here and there if I need it, but then I separate myself from that. I look away from them and I look at what I do and look at everything I've done and just think of like, how can I make this better for me? How can I make this work for me? Because you're not gonna be as like the same as everybody else. Your stuff may not be as great as everybody else's, but that's fine if you're doing the best you that you can do. That's gonna speak volumes to people, especially if you got people already behind you rocking with you. You clearly doing
Yes.
something right. You know what I'm saying? So I look at, and that's another aspect I look at too. I look at like all the people that rock with me, whether it be with streaming, whether it be with music, whether it's just even if it's just my friends. I look at all the people that rock with me, and I just think to myself like, if they still here, if they're still rocking with everything I'm doing, clearly I'm doing something right.
Right.
So I try not to get too caught up in like trying to trying to like make my mark with all these different avenues, and I'm more so just like focus on like doing the best, like just improving on what I've already done and just climbing up that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't try
Yes.
to get too caught up in what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a definite. It's like a mind your business, mind your creation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
definitely that. And honestly, you said something very 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 important where people have this false sense of who they are and what they create.
Hmm.
And in that space, it's hard to, when someone does have that mindset, it's hard to evolve. It's hard to elevate. If you
Hmm.
think if you're technically a level 10 but you think you're at a level 20, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's hard,
Right.
like you're not focusing on reaching level 11, level
Hmm.
12, level 13.
Yeah.
You trying to jump a whole gun and then some. And
Exactly.
I just love that you said that you kind of have your avenues, and you have your cruise control. Like when you want to speed
Hmm.
up, you speed up. When you want to cruise,
Exactly.
you cruise. You're not worried
Hmm.
about the lane next to you, or anything of that nature. And that speaks volumes to, I think, the creator that you are, and why people do rock with you, because they see your growth, and it's not like
Yeah.
it's confusing in a sense of a way. They can follow it.
Yeah.
They can follow, like they see, if they saw you at level 5, now they see you
Hmm.
at level 10, now they see you at level
Exactly.
20,
Hmm.
and they saw the growth of in between. And that's super super important. And that kind of
Yeah.
puts me to my next question, where out of these avenues, and where do you talk a little bit about the future here? Where do you see yourself in these? And have you ever envisioned, like, okay, you do music, you do streaming, you draw, you literally are a triple threat. Like those are three things a lot of
Yeah.
people can't do, is
I
entertain,
appreciate that.
also do music, and also draw. Like even
Hmm.
me, like I can do music and I can entertain. You ask me to draw something, you barely getting a stick figure.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
barely getting, yeah, barely. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm left hand chicken scratch. If I tried to draw a stick figure, it'd be looking like this. Like,
Yeah.
but have you ever kind of sat down with yourself and kind of figured out, have you ever prioritized them? Or because, like, I'm always kind of afraid where, let's say if I do put out an album and that album pops,
Mhm.
but I have to give up
Yeah.
streaming. Or if I start
Mm.
streaming and my streaming gets up there, would I have to give up music? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
would
Yeah.
something have to fall back because the other one is rising? Have you ever like sat and thought about that and like tried to prioritize?
I've definitely had those thoughts, especially
Mhm.
like getting it. I think honestly, once I got into Twitch and really like started doing it seriously, that's when I really started thinking like what do I want to like do in the end? Music has always been like my first love, drawing second. And then when I realized that I love streaming, that became my third. But I guess like if I had to pick one, it would definitely be music. But my thing is like, because I really care about this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
this isn't just something that I just do just to do. This is something that I really do love doing.
Right.
I don't feel like I would have to necessarily sacrifice one for the other. I do feel like, yeah, I would have to prioritize one over the other. Like, if my streams start popping, you know, like, I'm still going to do music. That's not going anywhere. I'm
Right.
still going to do art. That's not going anywhere. But I'm going to have to put more time into the one thing so that I can, like, in a way, like, free up time for the other things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Vice versa with music and all that. But nah, honestly, like, again, like I said, if I had to pick one, music is definitely going to be like that avenue. But
Right.
even still, like, I don't want to feel like I have to like sacrifice one for the other. Like, I'm still going to put my all into streaming. I'm still going to put my all
Right.
into music and art and all of that. So it's definitely been something that I've had to think about like often,
Right.
often, especially like as I'm trying to like, because at this point in time, I'm putting more, you know, priority into my music than I am with streaming, but like I still really love streaming. So I'm trying to like ease up off that just a little bit so I can put more focus into this. Cause I don't want to get to that level and then I look back and feel like I abandoned one thing just so I could like put my all into another. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. And especially with growing different, I would say different support bases, because there's some
mm-hmm.
people who there's there's always going to be the people that rock with everything you do, and God
Yeah.
bless all those people. Like, God bless the
Mm-hmm.
people that will rock with
Yeah.
any content you put out, no matter the outlet, platform, whatever. But there are going to be people who may just watch you stream and may not listen to your music, or there's people who will
Yeah.
listen to your music and may not watch you stream. And I know you don't want to feel like you are abandoning a certain percentage of those people.
Right.
And that's a big thing I do think about as well. And I'm kind of glad to kind of hear your take on it. One of the bigger questions that I definitely wanted to ask you is, in this space of, I do see you as a realer person, like as a
Yeah.
realist type of person, like you are
Appreciate
honest
that.
with yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not, and it's especially in this day and age, kind of like how to piggyback what you said
Yeah.
earlier, where people even lie to themselves, you know.
Mm.
And how do you how do you deal with the how do you deal with like the highs and lows of these creative outlets? Like, how do you deal with, like, the struggles of streaming and the struggles of music, and overcoming them to keep them going?
Honestly, I just couple things like I just one I have to be like appreciative of where I am. You know what I'm saying? Something that I see a lot of big streamers and a lot of big artists saying all the time is like they started off in the same spot as you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
everybody started off from zero. So when I'm like in like my streamer mode or in my music mode and I'm like looking at like I don't know, I guess you said like the lows of like where I
Right.
am right now and everything like that. Like it definitely does get to you a little bit,
Yeah.
but like I just like I guess sort of just like appreciate where I am because it's like I may not be like in the top like 1,000 or anything like that, but like I'm doing something good to make people like rock with me. Like I try to just like look at what I'm doing right and just like sort of just like focus on that mainly. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
even then, like even when that's not working, I just sort of like something I feel like a lot of people don't do. They get so caught up in it that that stuff can like sort of like ruin them a little bit. I just take a step back from it all. You know what I'm saying? When I'm doing music, and like I may not like I ain't putting nothing out yet, but like if I'm not getting the plays that I want to get, right?
Right.
I don't focus on that too much. I just leave it alone. It's there, it's out there. Let me go do something else. So I'm doing streaming and I look and I see like all the views I got and whatnot. It may not be where I want, but it's there. It's fine. Let me leave that alone, go on something else. Let me separate from all of this. Because I feel like people get so caught up in that work mode, they don't give themselves times to actually live like a person. You know what I'm saying? Just live life outside of whatever creative avenue that they're exploring. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Yes.
like I feel like because that's big for me, like taking care of my mental health and like not focusing too much on the highs and lows and whatnot, especially not like post. I feel like after COVID and everything, there were a lot of streamers who were like stuck in the house, a lot of artists who were stuck in the house,
Yes.
and that stuff was really starting to get to them to a point where there were people who have been streaming like consistently for like 5, 10 years, whatever it is. And they were like, I gotta take a break. This is weighing too much on me. And seeing that and seeing how many of them were coming out like honest with themselves about how this stuff is starting to weigh down on them and how they need to take a break. I just started doing the same thing, just giving my time, like giving myself the time and space that I needed to actually like deal with everything that I'm putting on my plate. Even if it was
Right.
just one thing, even if it was just streaming, I still have to give myself that time and that separation to just like live and just be grateful for where I'm at so I can then come in and then focus on what I'm not doing so that stuff doesn't like affect me too much. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I definitely get that. Golly, that's you speaking truth, so truth, so truth, man.
Hey man.
Um, with and to like to step away from the darker sides of this conversation and go into a little bit more lighter sides. Let's talk about your creativity in total.
Mm.
Let's talk about what are some things that you are looking to achieve and that you're working on. Of course, if anything's super secret, please don't
Right.
share. But we all still want to be definitely surprised. But as of right now, Gold Wave the artist, Gold Wave the streamer, what are some things
Yeah.
that you are working on that you're like, yo, this is gonna hit like.
Right. Honestly, so honestly with all three of them I'm doing something to improve. You know what I'm saying? You can see right now like I got like I started messing with my little stream space a little bit to
Shit
touch
is
that
so
up. I got
nice,
some
yo.
stuff in. Ain't it, yo? I'm so happy with this. Like even stuff like just adjusting my lighting for Twitch and all that for like streams and everything. Like adding some more to my background and whatnot. I'm doing stuff like that, but I'm also trying to like, like I look at because I've had the same background for almost a year now. As soon as I got my PC, because I streamed straight from the PlayStation, no camera, no alerts, no none of that. It was just go live and just go. So as soon as I
Wow.
got me a PC, I was like, yo, I could go ahead. I could have like an offline screen now. I could have like a be
Yeah.
right back screen. I could do all that. And I made all that just so I could like put it out there. And I was happy with it. But I'm looking at it now and I'm like, okay, this has been like this for a minute. Let me go ahead and like touch this up a little bit. Let me go ahead
Mhm.
because as my stream has grown and as I've grown, I feel like all my stuff needs to grow with me. So I'm
Yes.
like, working on different like wallpapers and scenes and stuff for Twitch. But I do that when I stream, you know what I'm saying? When I'm
Right.
doing like my art streams and whatnot, people can see what I'm doing there.
That's good.
But when it comes to like art and music, those two things are sort of like intertwined with each other. So I can't say what it's about yet. I kind
Okay.
of want that to be a little bit of a surprise. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel
Yes.
like everybody knows me as a person. Because when I stream, like I'm just me. Like I feel like everybody knows me like as a person, like as I am and everything. But they don't know like what I'm like as an artist and even as a person before they met me on Twitch. And so like that's kind of like what my music is about, which by the way, I
Yes.
am dropping an album. I'm not giving
Yes.
out the title yet.
I got you. I got you. I
I'm
got
not
you.
I'm not giving out the title. I'm not giving out the track list, but an album is coming. I have been working on that. I
I'm
actually,
hyped for that.
yeah, I know you, and honestly, I feel like since we talking about it, this is a good place to say
Yes.
um, I actually, and this is of no disrespect to them whatsoever, but I actually ended up signing to an indie label last year, non-exclusive, so I can like do whatever I want. I
Okay.
get to keep all my stuff and everything.
That's really good.
But
Whew, important.
yeah, but as I was working with them and everything, as you said, like I'm this person who has all these different avenues of like creativity and everything that I work on.
Right.
And I had a really good talk with a few of my friends and whatnot, and they wanted to like pick my brain apart about like, yo, what does this label do for you and everything. And then I started going down. It was like, oh, they could like, get me on Spotify, and they could get me on Apple Music and all these different things. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you could do this by doing this thing over here. And I was like, word, okay, but no, but they
Mm.
still like do my artwork and everything like that. And they was like, no, but like you draw
You
though,
can do
like
your artwork.
you've been making mixtape covers since you was like 13. And I was like, okay, but like, what about like my beats and everything? Yo, you've been working on beats on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been messing around with different samples and stuff like that. And it's just like, I really started looking at it because like my biggest thing as a creator is ownership.
Yes.
And I'm real big on owning like all of my stuff. I don't like splitting with people I don't need to split with. I don't like people having a percentage of my stuff. I want to own all of my stuff, my publishing, my royalties, all of that. And so like even though with them like I could definitely still have done that, I just looked at it like if I'm doing all of my stuff, this is mine. Nobody can put a tag to that. Nobody can claim this. This is all mine. So I just sort of like split from them. And again, no disrespect because they're still mad dope.
Right.
But I just sort of split from them and then decided I can do this on my own. And so that's exactly what I started doing. So, and that's why I said my art and my music sort of intertwined. So, like
Yes.
with my album, like obviously I'm doing like my own cover art and stuff.
Right.
I'm doing cover arts for every single that I plan on dropping. You know what I'm saying? I'm making my own beats, doing my own hooks, doing my own raps, everything. Like
Yes.
all of that is all me. Again, I can't say what it's about
I
yet. I
got
can't
you.
say like
Got
none of that. None of we not there yet. But I can say I do have music on the way, and I'm real happy about where I'm at with that right now.
I'm hyped for that. I'm hyped for that.
Yeah.
It's that's great that you say that. We definitely gonna pick apart a couple of things that you said, but I want to first say here I will be hitting you up about a couple of music stuff. So be
Okay,
on the
say
lookout for
less.
that. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
Very
I
much
got you.
so. Very much so. And I'm definitely down to hear that, to hear the album. I really am. Even just you as a person, I'm interested in hearing your music because like you say, you put your life into it. So I'm interested in hearing Gold Wave side of the field. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see like
Yeah,
how green or not green your grass is. Like that's
got you.
I'm very, very, very excited for that. Please, please. I'm very excited. Now with ownership,
Mm-hmm.
that's a topic because I understand everything that you say. I'm the same way. I've
Mm-hmm.
put my stuff on band camps to no avail, SoundClouds, etc., etc. I upload my own Spotify stuff, do my own beats, or have my friends produce with me, things like that. People I trust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And with ownership, and this is of course away from the indie label, so just
Right, right,
with
right.
ownership in general, how do you go about trying to trying to intertwine those avenues not only with ownership but also with like collaborations or let's say
Mm-hmm.
sponsors or anything of that
Right.
nature, because now hearing your story about the indie label, I can see how a Twitch affiliate or a Twitch partnership may not be so appetizing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature, especially if you are such a creator that you may want to hit different outlets, platforms, whatever the case may be, or even
Mm-hmm.
start to intertwine things, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you think about like the future of that, like the future of ownership in these multiple creative outlets?
Um, like just overall, not even just with me. I feel like overall, that's definitely something that with time is going to change. Whether it's these, whether it's these different venues and companies wanting to change it, or if it's us essentially making them change. I definitely think that's something that's gonna occur in the future because like even with something like payouts on Twitch,
Yeah.
everybody has to split all their subs and everything with Twitch 50-50. And then I don't know if you heard, but like, I'm sure you did. Facebook not too long ago was like, yo, what was the rule I think
I
they
think
said
they did
like
like 75% or 90%,
some
something big.
yeah,
Like
I feel like
you
for the
get
for
most
the
of your
next
money.
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it was like for the next 3 years you get like if not all, you get like a good chunk of your money, like
Yeah.
70-80% or something like that. And then after that, it's only going to be like a 2/3 split. And then like immediately after that, everybody started looking at Twitch like, yo, what's your move? Like, what are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do about it? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants what they feel like they're owed. And that's completely fair.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm
Yes.
putting in the work, if I'm doing this, yeah, I might be on this platform and I might be using your services and whatnot. But if it's me and what I'm doing that's bringing in all these subs and whatnot, I feel like I should get all my stuff. And these are
Right.
definitely conversations being had. So I feel like in the future, like, yeah, like, especially with Twitch, that's definitely going to be something that has to happen. And I know with music, like, this is a conversation we've been having for decades. And it's
Yeah.
why I was so big on like owning my stuff. Even when I was with like a really dope indie label that was like all about the artists and all about giving them like all their stuff, I was still like, I want to do this on my own because we've seen too many stories about how these super big artists are like not getting all the coin that they're owed,
Yeah.
or how they're like trapped in these these deals and whatnot, and these contracts and everything. So it's like with me, like if when whether it's like something that I've already signed up for or something that I want to sign up for, maybe I'm just wanting to collab with somebody,
Right.
I'm looking at what the deal is right now and how much of that is going to be like for me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes. Yes, it does.
I'm looking at it like, okay, like I could sign up with this place and I could do these things that's going to bring in X, Y, and Z. But what are they doing for me versus what I'm doing for them?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm looking at that and it's not like, you know, hitting the way that I wanted to, I kind of like try to look and explore for other options. Even with Twitch, I do the same thing. Like I'm always looking at different ways for me to go into these like different like just take these different like chances and whatnot to be able to do what I feel like is going to be best for me. And it's something that I feel like a lot of creators are starting to like notice and take attention to try to like do the same thing, like do what they feel like is best for them in
Right.
the same way, because nobody wants to like look back in their life 10 years into the future and be like, I did all of this stuff right here, but I only got like this small fraction, and this person over here, or these people that I split with, over here, or this company over here, they're walking around with a huge chunk of my stuff. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it sounds like a little bit selfish, but it's like,
No.
I don't want people walking around with my stuff. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Especially if it's something that I made. So like, I don't know. It's definitely something that I don't know. For me, I'm always, and that's why I'm real picky about like, I don't even like to collab with people unless like we can like really do something that's going to be fair for all of us. Because like I
Ooh,
want my
yes.
coins, but I want people that I work with to get all their stuff too. I don't want to do anything that's not fair for anybody. So I don't want to sign no dotted lines if it's not in my best interest, if it doesn't help me with my intellectual properties. I don't want to collab with somebody if I feel like I'm not getting what I'm owed from them, or if they're not getting what they're owed from me. I don't like to work like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about people getting like all their stuff because I am really big on ownership. I am really big on like keeping what's mine, if that makes
Right.
sense. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes,
So
it does.
yeah, definitely.
And that's a perfect answer. I don't even. That's a perfect answer. I don't even have any piggyback. Everything you said is 100%. You know, you don't want to feel like it's like you can get something repo that you bought. To get something
Yeah.
repo
Oh,
that you
yeah.
made is different. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I created
Exactly.
something by hand and someone was like, "Oh, hey,"
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like if I bought it from you and you took it back,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
That's fine.
But
That's whatever.
if I made it and you
If
took
I
it,
made this, you can't have this. You know what I'm saying? Like I can stream on Twitch and like again, we having them conversations, Twitch, she'll
yes,
move. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
But like I can stream on Twitch and you know, they could take whatever, you know, I'm still gonna look at them and have them conversations, but that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as like, you know, I created this identity or I created this thing, even if it's something like I don't know, even if it's something like my bot, you know what I'm saying, that I
Right.
made. Like I have a little Twitch bot that I named Sheila and
Word. Shout
everything
out to
like that.
Sheila.
Like, yeah, word, you know what I'm saying? Like even something like that, like I don't want to like if I'm looking at I will leave immediately. Like if I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, you made this thing, but you're using it for our services, you don't get to keep that.
Oh no.
Nah, that's mine. That's mine, or I'm walking like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
it's all about like I feel like it's all about like figuring out like what's fair to split and still getting what's your fair split versus like
Yes.
what's completely off the table. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
with certain stuff of mine, like it's off the table. You know what I'm saying? If I
1000%.
ever were to sign with a label, which at this point I don't feel like I ever would again, but like if I were to ever sign with a label, my publishing, all mine. You know what I'm saying? My
Yes.
royalties, depending on what you did, I need that. You know what I'm saying? If I made a beat, if I like recorded a verse, whatever it is, that's all mine. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
don't. It's sort of like with DMCA, how there's like all these artists who probably don't even care if you're like streaming their music, but because they're a part of this label and this label wants all their money and they got DMCA backing them up, it's like, nah, you can't even have this in the background because we said so. Nah, I'm the
Yeah.
one that made it. If I don't care, I don't want anybody telling anybody else, nah, you can't do this. If I put
Thank you.
something out and I say like, yeah, everybody can have this, then everybody can have this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not
You don't
for
get to
another.
dictate that.
Yeah, like and that's why I'm so big on that. That's why I'm at a point now where it's like I don't even collab or sign anything unless I see exactly like what type of stuff you're owning over me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like if
makes
it's my music, I
perfect.
need it to really be my music, not just oh you made it and you get a check from it. No, it's mine. You feel
Right.
me?
That's a ooh, that's a fact. And there's two more darker tone things, and we're definitely gonna bring it light. But I do want to talk
All right.
about. I want to pick your mind about something that has kind of inspired me to even start streaming because of music, and I kind of want to pick your mind about that. I've been doing music since 2011, right?
Ooh,
Yeah, long time.
long
It's
time.
a long time. And the reason why I really got into streaming is because, like you, I'm a creative person overall, and I see this is why I'm bringing it to you because I see you as the very same, if not more. With that, when I make like how you said, when you make music, it's about your life. When I make music, it's about my life. So, for instance, let's say if you made a song about heartbreak, right? You
Ooh.
know, and with that, every time you perform it or listen back to it or share it or however way it may go, people can hit you up and be like, oh my god, that song resonated with me. I feel sometimes that people, when they hear your music, they're not truly resonating with you as a person, they're just
Mm-hmm.
resonating with your situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you
Exactly.
make music, it's kind of like you're putting this situation of yourself in this little
Yeah.
time capsule, bottling it up, and people can look at it. And every time you perform or every time you go back to that song, you have to live that moment. You have to reopen that
Yeah.
time capsule and live that moment. You know, if you made a song about heartbreak 3 years ago and you perform it
Hmm.
tomorrow, you have to go back to that moment in order to really give it the best performance you can. You know, you may be
Every single time.
every single time, you may be over the person who that song is about
Hmm.
3 times over, but you gotta pop open that time
You got to reel
capsule
it back in.
and you gotta reel
Yeah.
it back in. And sometimes I my part one to that is how do you deal with that? But my part two to that is the kind of the reason of that and why I went into streaming is because I started to feel like people didn't know me, but they knew just the situations that I talked about in music. So
Right.
going to streaming and having people know me, how do you deal with it's been a night and day thing. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with people learning about you versus learning about your situations that you talk about in music?
It's man, that's a word. It's definitely something to learn to get. You know what I'm saying? With situations like these, I feel like there's never like a one solution for how to deal with that, because like yeah, when you're making music, or at least like especially me, like when I'm making music, I don't just want to be like, oh, I have something to make a song about, let me go ahead and write it. Because like growing up, like it was always like I always had all these people like making all these, all these songs and whatnot, and I didn't want to be like an artist that was just like just rapping about whatever, just making
Right.
music about whatever. Like I wanted to feel like personable to me, and I feel like you can't just, if you're really trying to paint that picture with somebody, you can't just give them like a real like quick cliff note summary of it. Like you really
Yes.
have to like go in there, because I want people to like really like understand like how I felt when I was going through this, or like what my mental was like when I was in this situation.
Yes.
And when you're doing that, like, because I'm a very immersive person, like with no matter what it is I'm doing, whether it could be me just like playing a video game. If I'm playing a video game, like I'm really like in that. If there's characters I care about, like I'm like, yo, I love this person. If there's somebody I hate, it's like, yo, I can't wait to body this person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really in that. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be watching a movie, I could get emotional watching that if it's
Yes.
immersive enough, because I really like try to like put myself like in that same space. But like when it's you and your life, especially if it's
Mhm.
something that you like try to like not necessarily forget about, but definitely like move on from, and you have to go back into it, like it is definitely something that I feel like can sort of take a little bit of a toll, not a lot, but just like,
Right.
because like especially if you were in like a really like dark space in your head when you were making like not even just heartbreak, but whether it was a depression or
Right.
a situation with loss and stuff like that, like to really like illustrate how you felt, you really have to go in that, and that can definitely like weigh you down a little bit. So for me, it's all about, like I said earlier, it's all about just taking time to just like step away. And that's why like even on my Twitch, people see me taking so many breaks. It's not because I'm not into streaming. I'm very much into streaming, but it's like I'm also into music. But when I'm doing music, I'm really there when I'm
Right.
doing this. And I can't like, I don't want to do anything unless I'm giving it my all. Like if I stream, I want to like really give my all when I'm streaming. If I'm not feeling it, I don't turn the camera on. Even if I end up going 2, 3 weeks, even if I end up accidentally taking a month off, I'm doing that because like I want to give y'all like the best me that I can when I'm doing
Right.
that. But like when you're like when you're in that space, it could sometimes like really take you out of that. So it's all about just separation. You know what I'm saying? I find myself like, really just like going outside if I need to. You know what I'm saying? Going
Right.
on walks, going on drives. There'll be times where I just like just drive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to really like clear my head. Like I'll just like drive, you know what I'm saying? I talk to my friends all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like I hit people up and just like do anything to really like separate myself from that. And if I have situations where people do like see me like that, it's like I don't know, like that is a bit of a weird feeling. Like if people are used to seeing you one way, but like then you expose this entirely different side of you, even if it's
Right.
like just like this sad side of you or this side of you like maybe you was aggressive in your youth or something like that. Like
Right.
it is kind of like I don't know, not difficult, but it's something to like really like it's something you really gotta like get used to. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to deal with people now being exposed to another side of you that you may not that they might have known of, or one that you may not have just like try to talk about. And for me, it's just I don't know. I try to. I think for me, the way I do my music, I try to do it in a way where it's like I'm telling you my story, but I'm also just like making something that's like you're not just listening to Go Wave rap about Go Wave. You're listening to Go Wave rap about this situation that a lot of people can relate to,
Yes.
but from Go Wave's lens and whatnot. So that kind of gives me a little bit of solace, a little bit of solace away from just people peering into my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people don't just see me with in this certain state. So people can still see me as me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's an answer. That's an
I
answer.
appreciate that. Hey, I
Woo.
try.
Yes, succeed. um. So one of the biggest things that I want to talk to you about is as a creative person in one of the most creative hubs in the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
How do how does that inspire you? And not only that, but
Mm.
not only your local and like state inspire you, but also being so exposed to the world beyond because that you stream and like
Mm-hmm.
people in communities, we share a lot of communities together, so we know people
Yeah.
from Boston and Cali and
Mm-hmm.
etc. And having now a whole new branches of different states of inspiration, how does that compare to your local, like where you live at inspiration, like that kind of statewide or global inspiration versus
Yeah.
your state inspiration? How does that all, how do you balance that?
Um, I don't know, man. Like I think it's a really beneficial thing being on a platform like Twitch and being able to communicate or be exposed to people from all over the place, because
Right.
especially if you're somebody like me who doesn't travel a lot, most of all I'm ever exposed to is just like people from Atlanta and people from like just around me and whatnot. And you know what I'm saying, whether it's not even just people in my city, but like I mean, people from like around my or like people from like my childhood, like you kind of get like not trapped because it's a beautiful thing and that like where I live and everybody I know like they're all so different and you get these like different unique experiences, but like looking at different people, like being able to be in a situation where you have a platform like Twitch where you can like see all these different people from around the country or from around the world and whatnot, it really kind of like opened your eyes a little bit, because not everybody gets to like leave their city and all they
Yeah.
know is their city and whatnot, and they don't really get to see that until they like really like travel and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So being on a platform like Twitch where it's not, and there are some personas on Twitch, but most of Twitch is just people just being themselves, you know what I'm saying? Just living their lives how they live their lives. So getting to see that like real authentic side of people and from these different like places of when it definitely kind of like I said, it kind of like expands your lenses a little bit to seeing like all that's out there and how different people look at different things. Cause like growing up, I would say till I was about 24, 20, yeah, it's about 23, 24. All I ever really knew, aside from like, I had a couple friends from out of town from different places and whatnot, but all I ever really knew was people from like down here.
Right.
But then like, 25 rolled around and I started getting exposed to Twitch and I started seeing like all these different people, like the different people that can make you see things in a way that you wouldn't have thought before, or
Yes.
or do things in a way you wouldn't have thought to have done before. It's really something that's like mad dope, because I didn't I always thought that I was growing, but I didn't realize how sort of stuck I was until I started seeing and being exposed to and communicating with all these different like all these different people from all these different backgrounds and everything. I think it's like dope. I definitely still like there's so much that I learned from like my environment, and so much that
Yeah.
I still keep with me to this day. But being able to bring in all those different outside perspectives, it's like it sort of like enriches my view of everything. You know what I'm saying? Not even just as a creative, but just as a person. Like there's stuff that I see now that I probably wouldn't have like seen the way that I see it now if it wasn't for
Right.
all the people that I was able to be exposed to. You know what I'm saying? So I
Exactly.
think it's really beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It definitely it helps you as a creative being able to see like how different things are done by different people, but also as a person, I feel like that can really like just help you grow overall. You know what I mean? And I think that's really dope.
That's beautiful answer, man. Because I feel the exact same sentiment. It being on Twitch and just having this global like communication, like it's like a communication
Hmm.
barrier that just shatters. You know,
Yeah.
you join a Discord, and next thing you know, it's just a world of different people and views and states and
Hmm.
cities and yada yada
Yeah.
yada. That the more you talk to and the more you communicate, it just kind of grows you as a person. It grows you as a creator. I'm sure that being on Twitch and having joining these communities also helped you grow in music in ways you didn't even probably think, or grow as a
Absolutely.
person or anything of that
Hmm.
nature. And that's that's like you said, that's the most beautiful benefit that a creator can get, is a different
Hmm.
lens. It's
Yeah.
always a different lens.
Hmm.
And with that, that goes kind of all the hard questions. Just to some fun stuff. Let me know. You do so many different types of artistic things and creative outlets. Tell me about different inspirations of whether it's people or things or whatever the case may be, but in music and streaming and drawing. Give me
Yeah.
some of your top inspirations of a mixture of all three.
Cool. Man, top inspiration. I feel like I feel like I would have to like break this down
Yeah,
into
yeah,
section.
please. But yeah,
Like,
break it down in categories if you need to. Yeah, heck yeah,
but
heck yeah.
like when it comes to like art, right?
Right.
I don't have any one specific inspiration. I actually learned
Mm,
this from my little cousin. He actually draws too. I feel like my whole family draws, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
dope.
But my little cousin, like, we had a conversation not too long ago about like, art and stuff like that and all these different creators, and he was like, when I draw, because he draws and he's almost like, I feel like he's better than me sometimes, but like, he's like, when I'm learning to like draw these different poses or draw these different characters, things like that, I don't look at any one person. I just go on Twitter and just start following a bunch of different artists and whatnot. And I found myself doing the exact same thing. Like I I can't even name all the different people that do art that I follow, but I literally just follow just a bunch of them so I could just see like all their different art styles, or how like this person does line art compared to how this person does it, or how this person does shading compared to this person, and different things like that. So like I literally just follow as many people as I can when it comes to art, because there's so many different ways. I
Like
will
that.
say like I will say like there's two people that I can name. Well, one for art and one for stream, but like I know like AG Barbie, Asia,
Yes.
she does art, and like the way like she has such a very specific style to her art that like I don't necessarily try to emulate, but I definitely look at like how she does her stuff and take that as probably like the biggest inspiration. But then I still look at like everybody else that I'm following on the timeline, and I'm just like, how can I take like my art style and maybe blend it with like this line art style and this shading style and different things like that? And I just like try to like take all of that in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, be as innovative as you can.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
never, cause it's all about like how I said before, like, you know, just being in one place and then versus being exposed to all these different people.
right.
You can grow, but you might not realize how stuck you've been until you start seeing all these different ways of doing stuff. So it's like, yeah, I follow like this artist or that artist, but I didn't realize how much I was being stagnant with my art until I started seeing all these different people. I wish I could remember her name, but there's this girl on Twitter who does like she does like this portrait art of people,
Hmm.
and it's so detailed. Like like it is so hard. You wouldn't know that it was painted until somebody said it. Like it's just that
Shit,
detailed. And I don't draw like that,
that's
but
cool.
I still look at that and like try to like implement different things that they do in their art that I would want to like, you know, like apply to mine to like help me like grow my skills. And it's so dope.
Right.
It's so dope. Um and then with streaming, like you, so like when I first came to Twitch, I didn't know of like many black creatives like that. I didn't even really know what Twitch was like that. I started off making videos on YouTube and then quickly realized I'm not into video editing. I'm not into like sitting in front of a camera by myself talking
Yup.
to nobody, just talking to myself and then having to like edit and render and do all this stuff just to upload it and have my engagement be for what I put up after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
on YouTube, I still ended up streaming on there, and I was like, oh, this is dope. Like being able to like turn the camera off and whether turn the camera on and whether I'm like drawing or playing a game and whatnot, I got all these different people like just watching me and talking to me.
Right.
That's dope. But I didn't want to have a YouTube channel that was just that. So I started looking for like, you know, like I wanted to do this, but I was like, where do I go? And my friends have been telling me about. So when I came here, I was just following like the top streamers on the platform because when I was watching compilations and whatnot to get a vibe for the place, like those are the only people that I saw, you know, like the
Right.
Pokemains, the Soda Poppins, the Greek guys, like all of them. But then and this is a little bit of a story time, but like I
Of
had
course.
been following this these group of people Dead End or Dead End Hip Hop
Dead
on
in hip hop.
YouTube
Shout out to
for
Dead in hip hop.
yeah,
Mike C
all
Town in the
day.
building. FIFO.
Yes,
Hey.
sir. See, you know about it.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
I have been following them since like high school and I follow
Yeah.
everything that they did. And when they started Dead End Gaming, you know, I like listening to podcasts. So when they started doing Dead End Gaming, I listened to them on the podcast. And I followed their Twitch, but I never really watched. Just not even because I didn't want to, but just because like, you know, I was so used to having them as my Friday podcast. I didn't want to feel like I was like losing that. So I just started watching this. But so I just started like listening to the podcast, but like eventually I did started catching like a few of their streams and getting a better vibe for Twitch. There were some people that I followed, but like it wasn't really hitting the way that I wanted to. But
Right.
they rated like a few different people and I started getting involved with like or like started like seeing and getting exposed to all these different streamers. But then one day they had rated Story Mo Bay. Shout out to Story
Shout
Mo.
out to
That's the
Story
homie
Mo
right there.
Bay, the queen.
Yeah. And they have rated her and she's such a like dope creator. Like
Oh yeah.
she to this day she is still, and I don't just say this because she's my friend, I say this because I mean it, she is still my favorite streamer on the platform
Same.
to this day.
Same.
And like, you know, I watched her and she was like so dope and welcoming and all this, and I found myself like watching her a lot. But every time I would watch her, you know, everybody raids on Twitch, but she rated all these different like dope black creatives on Twitch that I didn't even
Yup.
know existed until I found her. I got exposed to Sensei CJ. I got exposed to
Yup.
Big Cheese and Betty Nicks and Kiwi and Chelsea Bites and like all these different people. And like it's just so dope how like finding this like one streamer exposed me to like this whole other
The
like
web.
avenue
Right.
of Twitch I didn't even know existed. Like I knew there were black people on Twitch, but like this community, this like I guess you could say like this big web of like black creatives that I ended up finding, like I feel like a good majority of them in some way or another has like inspired me in how I do like my streams and whatnot. But like definitely story mode and CJ, like all of them have like been huge inspirations to me ever since I ended up finding them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So shout out to all of them.
Shout out to all
Um,
of them.
yeah, all day. And then when it comes to music, right? And I know I'm going a little long winded here, but
Nah,
like,
yo, we here. I'm
yeah, it's just like the journey I went through to get to where I got to like looking at stuff the way that I did.
right.
So like when I was a kid, right? Family was like very religious, very Christian, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really get to listen to anything but gospel music around the house, except for when I would go to like my aunt and uncle's house because they would have like, you know, TLC and Kanye and Alicia Keys. They would have all of that. But like I was only over there like after school. Like I didn't really get to like sit down and listen to it like that, but I would hear it all the time. And I ended up like getting my own love for like R&B and hip hop because even though that may not have been in my house like that, it was still something that I was drawn to the few times I was exposed to.
Right.
But when I started trying to like find it on my own, I didn't really like the same way like people say like how like they grew up on Pac and they grew up on Nas and Jay-Z and all that. I didn't really have that growing up. I had to find my own music and I was really just listening to whatever was on the radio. Everybody at my school, everybody around my neighborhood, everybody was just listening to like everybody was just bumping what was on the radio and whatnot. So I was
Right.
like, oh, this is that music that's cool. You know what I'm saying? The TIs and the Soldier Boys and the Waynes, like everybody that was just on the radio during the time.
Right.
And I found myself trying to emulate them. But then like as time went on, I feel like I didn't really expand like my musical horizons until I feel like my junior year of high school. Like it had been that long. And who was it? I feel like at that point, like it had expanded enough to where I was like, all right, the radio rap is cool, but now I want like real rap. Now I want like just bars after bars after bars. And at that point, I found myself listening to like, you know, like Eminem and Tech Nine and all these people that could just rap.
Right.
But on one of Tech Nine's projects, he had a verse on, I think he had a song called I Love Music. And on there, he had a track by Kendrick. And then I listened to Kendrick. I was like, oh, he's dope. But coincidentally, around that point, everybody was getting hot to Kendrick at my school. So everybody was bumping him. But then everybody was also trying to like low key be hipster about it and be like, oh, y'all ain't been on Kendrick. Y'all don't know about the TDE mixtapes. Y'all don't know about like overly dedicated. Y'all don't know about this. And so because of that, I ended up getting exposed to like all the TDE, Absol, J Rock, Schoolboy, Kendrick, all of them. And then from there, like I started seeing like the different people that they were collabing with. You know what I'm saying? I ended up being like a huge fan of Young Money to finding out about TDE and Odd Future and just all these different groups of people. And then I even like went back a little bit to like try to like really like educate myself on hip hop because my like the way I do music now is night and day different from how I was trying to do it back then.
Yeah.
Because again, I was only looking at like one avenue or like one artist or group of artists that did music.
Right.
And so I found myself still being attracted to like just like rap bars, you know what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
like artists that just rap. But also I just like because of all the people that I ended up getting exposed to, like it wasn't like a gradual thing. It like sort of like just blew up at the end of
Right.
high school. Like Odd Future was popping off, TDE was popping off, Young Money even still had like some people that was like really doing their thing. And I
Yeah.
just started getting like enthralled by all of these different sounds that I honestly, because at that point I've been doing music since I was like, well, I've been into music since I was like 8, but I didn't start like trying to record till I was 16.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
after that, I honestly just sort of like took a break from music because like I was like getting all these different sounds and I was like so focused on one thing, I didn't realize that I was sort of like not copying, but really trying to like imitate like whoever I was listening to. So I sort of just took a break and just took a couple years to just really like absorb all these different creatives. But even as I was doing that, they were growing artistically too. Kendrick was growing, Isaiah Rashad was growing, Tyler the Creator easily. Tyler the Creator ended up becoming one of my favorite artists
Yes.
because the music he made when I was in high school versus what he's been coming out with
Man.
recently, like it's all just
Insane.
like it's truly inspiring, yo. Like the way his sound has just been evolving,
Yeah.
and so like I sort of look to them. I sort of just like now just take in like just all sorts of sound. Like of course I still have my favorite artists. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
Tyler, Kendrick, My Morning Jacket is a alternative like rock band and whatnot. Because that was something that I got into too. I didn't
Yeah.
just limit myself to hip hop and R&B. I listened to music. You know what I'm saying? And matter of
Yes.
fact, there was this I want to tell you there was this one music video Tyler put up. It's not on YouTube anymore and it makes me sad. But he had this music video for Buffalo when he came out with his Cherry Bomb album.
Yup.
And you know halfway through Buffalo like it
With the
cuts off and it splits and it does like what was it? Find Your Wings?
yeah, where he's like
And
the like the little Soul Train thing.
yeah,
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 or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like that music, like there was something he said in that music video where like the dude was interviewing him and he was like, "Yo, you got all these different instruments, man. Like, how do you do all of this stuff?" And then like he like it's all part of a skit, but he was like explaining like they all try to like pigeonhole me in this rap box, but it's like, nah, man, I love music, I love sound. And when he said that, because Cherry Bomb kind of came out to like mixed reception because it
Yeah.
was like very like experimental,
Right.
but like when he said that, and then like he went on to like perform "Find Your Wings," I don't know why that line in particular like just stuck out for me, but it really made me pay attention to like all the instruments that he was using in that one song, and then it made me go back and re-listen to Cherry Bomb as an album, and it like I could just tell like he was really experimenting with like all these
Yeah.
different like sounds and instruments and whatnot. And I don't know why, but that ended up becoming like one of the most inspirational things that I ever took away from music. And it was just one line, a part of one like the second half of a music
Of a
video that's not
skit.
even up anymore, off of a skit. And it just it really made me like it made me more attentive when it comes to my
Mm,
music, but it also made me want to like really just experiment with certain stuff, even if it's like simplistic, because I'm still like, even with all these inspirations, I'm still from the South. So I still got like
yeah.
that Southern style to my music, but like it really makes me want to like, it really makes me pay attention to like every sound and every word and every piece of my music that goes into creating a song or just music in general when
Right.
I'm doing it. And that honestly ended up becoming one of the biggest takeaways I took from really any artist when doing music. And then even
Mm,
still, like I apply it to like, Twitch and art too. Like that's why I say like I follow all these different artists. I don't just like stick to one style. I don't want all my stuff to look like one style. I want to try to do like many different styles of art so I can like
right.
sort of blend and stuff like that. And even with my streaming, I don't want to just look at one or two streamers and be like, "Oh, I'm like this person. Let me do this." No, I want to look at like how does this person like interact with their chat? How does this person like have their layout set up? What does this person do for their like Twitch incentives and whatnot? Like different
Right.
stuff like that. Like I always try to like take like little bits and pieces and like experiment and really try to like make my stuff like, even if it's simplistic, make it like the most like, I guess like the most like experimental simplistic there is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah,
I
that's that's
love that.
that's that's my whole list, yo.
Oh, I love that. And yeah, we definitely gonna talk. Okay, so here we go. So,
Let's do it. I
so
got time. We could do it.
let's do it. So first and foremost, to start with the streaming inspirations, same thing. It's funny because in a flip, when I joined streaming, I was very I could tell you I didn't care too much about the platform in itself. Like I would literally like start streaming, kind of focus on that in streaming, you'll probably never see me on Twitch again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like until I was streaming, like you just maybe like other than like one or two like actual friends of mine, like I would watch, but then I it's a little story time of my own. I was like, okay, let me, because there was a point in time where I was like, I don't feel connected to the communities of Twitch. You know, I don't know what else
Yeah.
is out there. Like I truly don't. And just one day I was like, you know what? Let me just look around and look around and then I was similar to you. I was watching Dead End Hip Hop, and
Mm.
they was like, yo, you know how FIFO does it. Make sure you follow, you know. And I was like, all right, you know, sure, why not? So I
Yeah.
followed, and God knows we could have been in the same stream, but rated Story Mode Bay, and I said, oh,
Yeah.
all right, here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And once again, shout out to Story Mode Bay, but it seemed like she like had a key to like open this
Yeah.
door, and you just saw it was just like black
Everybody.
creators and it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, like where was this door? Like, you
Yeah.
know. And you know, ever since, you know, huge inspiration, huge fan. That's like my big sis right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, musically, um my mom and my uncle had a lot to do with my music, and my brother as well, my older brother as well. They all
Yeah.
like different stuff. Like my uncle really loved, like he loved the oldies, and he also loved like the club mixes, because you know we from Jersey. My uncle's from Tennessee. You know, my mama
Yeah.
ties from Virginia. You know, so we a lot of southern roots, but you know we converted in New Jersey. And you know, my uncle listening to like southern styles and the Tupacs and like A Tribe Called Quest and NWAs and all that stuff. And my mom,
Yeah.
big Mary J. Blige, big this, you know, Stevie Wonder and etc. And you know, my brother loves the Fabulous and the 50 Cent, and you know,
Yeah.
getting all of those kind of at once was like, wow. And it's funny you mentioned, because then I went to school. When I got into high school, I was very, very much a rap kid. But when I got into high
Yeah.
school, after I moved, more predominantly white high school. So then that's when I started hearing the alternative bands and hardcore
Yeah.
music and this and that. And I'm like, then I realized there's more to hip hop. And then when you listen to everything, you can kind of start seeing the connections. Like you can hear a little guitar riff and maybe like a Kendrick song, or and you can
Yeah.
hear a little bit of like jazz and maybe like a indie song or something like that. Like, and then I realized, okay, this is how I just like music. Like that kind of blew my head
Yeah.
up. So I resonate with everything you said. I resonate with everything you said. I'm a big fan of, you know, I'm a big fan of experimentation as well, by kind of like Frankensteining things.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would take like classical strings and put it with like a blue saxophone and
Yeah.
hear how that mixed together. And then once I figured that out, I'd
Mm.
be like, maybe put some 808s on that. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
this is different, you know,
Yeah.
things like that. And that's kind of how my style has grown and things of that nature. But that's just to showcase, you know, similar stories that I resonate with everything you said. And honestly, you are just one of the creators that it was something that, you know, like it was just something that I was like, this is a person that I resonate with. Regard, we ain't never met personally a day
Yeah.
in our lives, but that's the also the beauty of being in these communities, is that I was like, they're I see this, like I see something in this person, and
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to sit down and chat. And honestly, this was the most beneficial chat. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite talk.
Oh, I appreciate that,
Of
man.
course, man, of course,
Truly, truly.
because it's such a resonate. It was literally like having a beneficial conversation with damn near myself. Just
Mm-hmm.
and not to say that you are not you, but it's just similar mindset.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
And I truly thank you. That's it for my questions. And I appreciate each and every answer that you gave, because each and every answer resonated highly. It resonated so much, and it really did give me confirmation of like the person that I kind of knew that you were, like
Yeah.
just a real strong down to earth person. And I was like, I knew like a realist, a creator, as true as a real creator can get. And I definitely see
Yeah.
that in you. And I know for a fact, just after this conversation, I know for 100%, there's no way you're gonna fail, man. It's just
Hey, man.
it's not. I don't see it being possible, bro. Like I really
Thank you.
don't. And that's timbre. You can tell that's the bottom of the heart, all the way to the tizzy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
the South got something to say, and you said it well, my guy.
Hey,
Like,
man. I appreciate that.
yeah, man.
Honestly, it's words like that keep me humble and remind me why I strive. Like, honestly,
Right.
like all I've ever really been is me. You know what I'm saying? All I ever try to do is just be like the best me. But just hearing words like that, like, thank you
I
and thank you
got
for
you.
having me.
Of
Truly.
course. Thank you. Thank you for staying on. I'm gonna do a quick wrap up here. And by the way, first and foremost, shout out to Mass Effect. Come on.
Oh,
Big
oh,
Mass
day. You
Effects.
already see I got the
Yeah,
little
that's
art
why I
book
was
in the
like,
back. You know what I'm saying?
come on, shout out to
Yeah.
Mass Effects right there.
Greatest gaming trilogy of all time. I
Yes.
don't care what nobody says.
Thank you.
Easily, easily.
A man of
I
culture right
still got to
here.
finish that legendary edition stream.
Well,
We gonna get.
I be watching it. You know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
Of
man.
course, of course. But I'm gonna end it. Guys and gals and everybody. I am RenaMarq, aka Renaissance Mark, your modern Renaissance creator. This is Gold Wave, artist, drawing, drawer, jar, artist, jar. You get what I'm
Artist,
saying? Yeah, artist. There we go. Like
multifaceted artist.
multifaceted artist, content
There you
creator,
go.
variety streamer, musician, in every which way possible. Just a dope, dope, dope person. Please check him out in everything he does. All his links will be in the description below. This has been Gold Wave. This has been Per-Sception. Love y'all. Peace.
Y'all
I'm
be
gonna end
easy.
recording now.